Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 9, Book 89, number 280. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. A man came to Allah's apostle while he was in the mosque, and called him, saying, "O Allah's apostle, I have committed illegal sexual intercourse." The Prophet turned his face to the other side, but when the man gave 4 witnesses against himself, the Prophet said to him, "Are you mad?" The man said, "No." So the Prophet said to his companions, "Take him away and stone him to death." Volume 9, Book 89, number 281. Narrated by Salama. Allah's apostle said, "I am only a human being, and you people, opponents, come to me with your cases, and it may be that one of you can present his case eloquently in a more convincing way than the other, and I give my verdict according to what I hear. So if ever I judge by error, and give the right of a brother to his other brother, then he, the latter, should not take it, for I am giving him only a piece of fire." See Hadith number 638, Volume 3. Volume 9, Book 89, number 282. Narrated by Abu Qatada. Allah's apostle said on the day of the Battle of Hunain, "Whoever has killed an infidel and has a proof or a witness for it, then the salb, arms and belongings of that deceased, will be for him." I stood up to seek a witness to testify that I had killed an infidel, but I could not find any witness and then sat down. Then I thought that I should mention the case to Allah's apostle and when I did so, a man from those who were sitting with him said, "The arms of the killed person he has mentioned are with me, so please satisfy him on my behalf." Abu Bakr said, "No, he will not give the arms to a bird of Quraysh and deprive one of Allah's lions of it who fights for the cause of Allah and his apostle." Allah's apostle I stood up and gave it to me, and I bought a garden with its price, and that was my first property which I owned through the war booty. The people of Hijaz said, "A judge should not pass a judgment according to his knowledge, whether he was a witness at the time he was the judge or before that, and if a litigant gives a confession in favor of his opponent in the court, in the opinion of some scholars, the judge should not pass a judgment against him till the latter calls 2 witnesses to witness his confession." And some people of Iraq said, "A judge can pass a judgment according to what he hears or witnesses, the litigant's confession, in the court itself, but if the confession takes place outside the court, he should not pass the judgment unless 2 witnesses witness the confession." Some of them said, "A judge can pass a judgment depending on his knowledge of the case as he is trustworthy, and that a witness is required just to reveal the truth." The judge's knowledge is more than the witness. Some said, "A judge can judge according to his knowledge only in cases involving property, but in other cases he cannot." Al-Qasim said, "A judge ought not to pass a judgment depending on his knowledge if other people do not know what he knows, although his knowledge is more than the witness of somebody else, because he might expose himself to suspicion by the Muslims and cause the Muslims to have unreasonable doubt." Volume 9, Book 89, number 283. Narrated by Ali bin Hussein. Safiya bint, daughter of Huyai, came to the Prophet in the mosque, and when she returned home, the Prophet accompanied her. It happened that two men from the Ansar passed by them, and the Prophet called them, saying, "She is Safiya." Those two men said, "Subhan Allah." The Prophet said, "Satan circulates in the human body as blood does." Volume 9, Book 89, number 284. Narrated by Abu Burda. The Prophet sent my father and Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen and said to them, "Make things easy for the people and do not put hurdles in their way, and give them glad tidings. And don't let them have aversion, i.e. to make people to hate good deeds. And you both should work in cooperation and mutual understanding." Abu Musa said to Allah's Apostle, "In our country a special alcoholic drink called al-bit is prepared for drinking." The Prophet said, "Every intoxicant is prohibited." Volume 9, Book 89, number 285. Narrated by Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "Set free the captives and accept invitations." Volume 9, Book 89, number 286. Narrated by Abu Humayd al-Sa'idi. The Prophet appointed a man from the tribe of Bani Asad, called Ibn al-Utabiyah, to collect the zakat. When he returned with the money, he said to the Prophet, "This is for you, and this has been given to me as a gift." The Prophet stood up on the pulpit. Sufyan said he ascended the pulpit, and after glorifying and praising Allah, he said, "What is wrong with the employee whom we send to collect zakat from the public, that he returns to say, 'This is for you and that is for me'? Why didn't he stay at his father's and mother's house to see whether he will be given gifts or not? By him in whose hand my life is, whoever takes anything illegally will bring it on the day of resurrection by carrying it over his neck. If it is a camel, it will be grunting. If it is a cow, it will be mooing. And if it is a sheep, it will be bleating." The Prophet then raised both his hands till we saw the whiteness of his armpits, and he said, "No doubt. Haven't I conveyed Allah's message?" And he repeated it 3 times. Volume 9, Book 89, number 287. Narrated by Ibn Umar. Salim, the freed salve of Abu Hudhaifa, used to lead in prayer the early Muhajirin, emigrants, and the companions of the Prophet in the Quba mosque. Among those who used to pray behind him were Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Salama, and Amir bin Rabia. Volume 9, Book 89, number 288. Narrated by Urwa bin Az Zubair. Marwan bin al-Hakam and al-Miswar bin Makrama told him that when the Muslims were permitted to set free the captives of Hawazin, Allah's Apostle said, "I do not know who amongst you has agreed to it, and who has not. Go back so that your Urafa may submit your decision to us." So the people returned, and the Urafa talked to them and then came back to Allah's Apostle and told him that the people had given their consent happily and permitted their captives to be freed. Volume 9, Book 89, number 289. Narrated by Muhammad bin Zaid bin Abdullah bin Umar. Some people said to Ibn Umar, "When we enter upon our rulers, we say in their praise what is contrary to what we say when we leave them." Ibn Umar said, "We used to consider this as hypocrisy." Volume 9, Book 89, number 290. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, The worst of all mankind is the double-faced one, who comes to some people with one countenance and to others, with another countenance. Volume 9, Book 89, number 291. Narrated by Aisha. Hind bint Utbah said to the Prophet, Abu Sufyan is a miserly man and I need to take some money of his wealth. The Prophet said, take reasonably what is sufficient for you and your children.